as a solo entrepreneur using my 1040 Schedule C income. I imagine I'll be paying myself. So how can I prove I pay myself, like with bank transfers to Five?
Yeah, but I think what they're looking at is if you're a sole practitioner, they're looking at your Schedule C. So they're looking at the net income that you have from your Schedule C, the activity. That's what they're looking at. Right.
I think that question, though, Jerry, means like when it comes time for loan forgiveness, what can they show and demonstrate to the lender that they actually use PPP funds appropriately?
Yeah, I still think it's going to come back to Schedule C, because the Schedule C is going to show what's the net income that went to the owner as a sole practitioner. So,
yeah, but won't that be after they file their 2020 taxes?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. So then maybe one of the things that they can do is perhaps keep track of it through a profit and loss statement, some kind of accounting system. I still think they're going to want that tax return to verify for the sole practitioner. I know a lot of the rules have not been put in place.
Right.
With our banker, we asked, what are you going to want to see to verify? I think for someone with employees, you can just give payroll data and show the 941. But for somebody that's a sole practitioner, you don't have the 941. So I think they're going to technically ask for the tax return at a later date. I feel like that's
well, I think the tax return is going to be required maybe ultimately, right? But I mean, in the short term, to get forgiveness on the loan, which you can do, you can ask for right after your 8 weeks are up of pay.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Something. So I think bank transfers would be important, some kind of written record. And I think bank transfers would be one of those ways, or write yourself a check. I mean, do the fashioned way that you write the check out to yourself and deposit it into your bank account.
As an accountant, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because I've seen a lot of people write checks to themselves and they still end up paying other expenses for it. They end up I'm waiting to see the legislation and the rules that come out.
Right. I was going to mention though. I think some of the banks are giving out like a loan forgiveness toolkit that basically like businesses can start thinking now about some of those facts. Some other banks, we haven't seen those come out because I think they're waiting for the guidance. But the one thing we've been recommending is if a business can do it, is to set up separate accounts, one for the PPP, one for the EIDL, because that's going to make it easier to track it, especially if you're going to have to allocate expenses and things like that. Not all businesses that make sense, but for businesses that can do it, we are recommending that because then you're going to be commingling a lot of the funds and it's going to be tougher to track it. And then like show, like you're talking about on the back end.
That's right. That's right.
And some simple things is just going to an Office Depot and buying some kind of record ledger where you can track that stuff in some kind of ledger with pen and paper. You know, as long as you have some kind of accountability system where you're tracking it, I think they'll be fine with the backup and the receipts to support it.